What's up, class? You guys, you like my hoodie, Level College hoodie right here? Hope you're doing well. I'm recording right now. It's Labor Day, so I hope you guys have had a good Labor Day weekend. I can't get you one of these hoodies, but however, I can get some of you, especially those of you who are not here on campus, I can get you one of these new Level Up shirts. All right, so here's the deal. I kind of want to see who's actually watching these videos. So here's the Level Up shirt. This is a small one. Right here, you can see it. It's kind of nice. We gave it out recently to a lot of on-campus students. If you would like one of those shirts in Canvas, message me your address and your preference for your size of shirt. I would love to send you one in the mail. My assistant will help me out, make sure that I get you one of those t-shirts that we have here for Level College. Because look, we're just glad that you're one of our students here at Level College. So glad that you are in this mentoring, Intro to Mission mentoring class. By now, you're starting to realize it's not complicated. There's really not much to this class with regard to its rhythm and its expectations. But I pray and I hope that there's a lot to this class with regard to the richness of even the simplicity of these assignments, God's glory among the nations that we're going through right now. And then, of course, your opportunity to just interact with your mentor and to have some good conversations, all centered around the theme of mission. So we're into lesson 3 for God's glory among the nations. You can actually see that right now with regard to what I have on the screen. We're going through what I believe is fundamental to learning the foundations for Christian mission, which is, you see right up here, the missionary task. My wife and I, we served overseas as missionaries through the International Mission Board. They had not yet clearly defined the missionary task just yet. We all knew what we were supposed to do. A missionary goes and proclaims the gospel and starts new works in places where there are not yet many Christians. That's the essence of becoming a missionary and going to another part of the world. But with this, the dawn of this new resource that the IMB has helped to really just verbalize, just to kind of put together for us. It has done so much for IMB missionaries, for the church in general, especially for Southern Baptists, and it is so helpful for those who go and also for those who send out the laborers into the harvest field. So I need you paying attention to this. I need you to not give lip service to just quickly going over this and not paying attention to it. One of your personal markers for this class, by the end of the class, I've taught this class like in person now already, Intro to Mission. By the end of this class, if you have not really memorized, brought it to heart, the 6 steps of the missionary task: entry, evangelism, discipleship, church formation, leadership development, partnership, and exit. If you've not really learned that and can actually quote it from memory, you really haven't done the due diligence to learn the content of this class. So pay careful attention here, because we will also address the missionary task again in the Foundations book, which is what we focus on after we are done with this particular module provided to us through the IMB Pathright. Okay, so here it is, just a quick overview. You take a look at these things as we have walked through God's glory among the nation, defining the mission of God, week 1, defining the mission of the church, and now going into the missionary task. And you can see right here, as you're taking a look at it, the IMB defines the missionary task as Jesus' one command to make disciples of all nations, broken down into 6 components. And those are the 6 components that I was referring to earlier on. You're going to get an opportunity to look into this concept of ethne, the panta ta ethne of Matthew 28, and talking about the making disciples of all the nations. And this is our focus of why you hear so many conversations revolving around people groups and trying to reach groups of people. So take a careful attention to the people group that are defined often by ethnicity and language, but then also history and religion and geography can factor into the definition of a people group. And there are scores of people group around the world, and tons of them that are in that category of unreached and also unengaged. So take a look at that. Of course, be reminded of God's heart from Revelation 7:9, making a people for himself from every nation, tribe, people, and language, knowing and worshiping Jesus. And then you continue to look at this. It's a great video, very simple video. I pray that it tugs at your heart with regard to the most important issue on planet Earth. The number one issue in the world is always lostness. I dare you to try and convince me otherwise, that there is a greater issue that we face today and every generation than the issue of lostness, the issue of people who are dead in their trespasses and sin. Because Adam sinned, we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. It is our nature, and we need to be redeemed in and through Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ alone. And that is the issue, that is the most important issue on planet Earth, is addressing that issue of lostness. So take a look at the video, walk through this particular part of the lesson, keep moving forward. As you guys have already noticed from lesson 1 and 2, you can tackle it pretty quick. But the more important part is to take notes and to create talking points for yourself as you have insights and questions to discuss with your mentor. If you look at these other bullet points, this particular part, it's going to go through the first 3 aspects of the missionary task, which is entry, evangelism, and discipleship. One of the things that I want you guys to take a little bit of time to see is that at each one right here, as you go through these components, at the tail end, you can click all of these about the role of research presence, identity, communication ability for the role of entry. But right here at the end, you're going to find for each component supporting scripture for that particular component. So you click there. Take a moment real quick to just see how we validate entry as fundamental to the missionary task and what we do. And of course, with evangelism, discipleship, church formation, leadership development, partnership, and exit as well. All right. Those of you who are really feeling called to the nations, that you are being sent out, you are a fool if you don't take advantage of this particular module right now that we're going through, God's Glory Among the Nation, to really learn this. It will put you light years ahead as you all of a sudden equip yourself to be that kind of cross-cultural worker who's making disciples of all the nations. So you have evangelism, the same thing here. Going to go through some different aspects, and it's going to give you scriptural support. The same thing for discipleship as well. Just kind of blitzing through this because it's your responsibility to look through it all. You look at the next point. By the way, I love that picture in the background right there. That's actually of Batu Caves. That's in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where my wife and I and our kids, that's where we lived for a little while. And it's going to then go on to talk to you about healthy church formation, which is a little bit of 12 characteristics of a healthy church. I find this very helpful for actually church work here in the United States too, to understand what is the essence of healthy church formation, not just the pioneer work, but churches in general. So you've got this one. You go into leadership development. I actually know the individual who cultivated this aspect. He's a great guy, lives in Kentucky right now, and he did a lot to help kind of understand this be, know, do format layout for leadership development, especially as it's regard to the missionary task. And then finally, the one that actually is really important for missionary work is exit to partnership. In other words, why is it good that missionaries exit well, that we not only enter well into mission objectives and assignments, but we also learn how to exit well? Why should this be a fundamental part of the missionary task? I hope you read about it, take a look at it real quick, And then you've got just a few other things as you kind of wrap up, see an overview of the missionary task. They've got some opportunities for you to go ahead and to take some notes about the things that you have observed for each of the components, how they work together. Another thing that you want to kind of observe is the way in which missionaries aren't just necessarily devoted to one aspect of the missionary task, but they are actually, it's multifaceted, involved in a lot of different ways and a lot of the different components. And then I like this, right at the tail end, you will see an opportunity to apply the missionary task by reading about George Lyle. Read about him, take a look at his life, take a look at his example, and even harness that as an opportunity to have further conversations with your mentor as to regard to what the missionary task actually means in application. Of course, thinking first and foremost of people who are serving cross-culturally so that all the nations would know, but then also being able to apply it into local context here as well. I do believe there's going to be an opportunity for you to recognize that there is a chance for you to go and do. What do we mean by that? I dare you to share the gospel this week. I dare you to put one aspect of the missionary task into effect this week. How do you do that? Live your life, observe all the different ordinary rhythms that you have, abide in Jesus, and seek out those opportunities for you to proclaim the good news with somebody this week. I hope that you'll take the challenge and that you will be reminded as an opportunity to use your mentor to actually encourage yourself to be about the business of kingdom work, which of course centers around sharing the gospel, especially with those who've never heard before. Okay, that is it for this week, this little rundown. Don't forget, those of you who want a shirt right here, got it. Make sure that you reach out to me, Canvas, message me your address. Would love to send you a free t-shirt. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll check in with you next week.